Back pain has become the #1 cause of disability in our country. Worst of all, back pain disability is increasing faster than any other disability. Even if you don't have back pain now, you have an 80% chance that you're going to have back pain later. Spinal Stretch can help protect you from this. Spine experts believe that up to 85% of all back pain stems from the disc drying out and breaking down. The problem is, most treatments today do not address the root cause. They do not put water back in the disc. When we're young and our discs are healthy, they're composed of approximately 85% water. The high water content keeps the disc plump and thick, so the vertebrae don't jam and pinch the nerves. The constant force of gravity pushing down on the disc puts hundreds of pounds of stress on the low back. This excessive force is like pushing down on a sponge. It drives the water out. Yes, when we lie down, the effect of gravity is lessened considerably, but there's still at least approximately 50 pounds of pressure on the disc because of muscle and ligament tension. So the low back discs are constantly under pressure, and this pressure inhibits the disc's ability to absorb water and stay healthy. Everybody knows that we get shorter as we age. Ask yourself, what happens? Well, you understand that your head doesn't shrink, your legs don't get shorter. What truly happens is the discs start to dry out and break down, and they flatten down. You lose height in your spine. It's kind of like the disc pad on your brakes, slowly getting smaller and smaller. Eventually, it starts to be metal on metal. There comes a time when the disc gets so small, eventually it starts to become bone on bone or bone on nerve. Back in the 70s, when NASA determined that astronauts were coming back to Earth as much as 2.5 inches taller, some really smart neurosurgeons appreciated what this meant for the possible future care of back pain. It proved to the spine experts that the disc can be rehydrated if you relieve the pressure on the disc. Spinal Stretch works because it distracts or stretches out the spine and relieves pressure on the disc to mimic weightlessness on Earth. As she increases the pull on her low back, the lumbar spine is being stretched or decompressed. Think of the disc like a sponge. Now, if I hold a sponge real tight in my hand, I can put it in a lot of water, but it will not absorb the water until I start to release the pressure. And then the water can start to diffuse back in. The same thing with the disc. If you take the pressure off the disc, it creates a negative pressure inside the disc, and like a vacuum, water is pulled back into the disc. So most therapies or treatments today are aimed at relieving the symptoms or relieving the pain. Our intent is to try to treat the root cause by rehydrating the disc. To keep our disc healthy is like keeping our teeth healthy. Of course, dentists are critical in the care of our teeth. But just as critical as the fact is our home care, the constant use of a toothbrush. You have a toothbrush that you can use at home, take it with you and use it when you want. It's relatively inexpensive. We feel that Spinal Stretch is the same for the disc. You take it home, you use it frequently. I would recommend using Spinal Stretch 3 or 4 times a week for 15 minutes per time. When patients have an acute flare-up, I advocate that they use it every day for 15 minutes. Most people, when they use Spinal Stretch, when they get up, they say they feel lighter. The spine is relieved of pressure, and they feel like they have more motion and movement in their low back. If we don't get on track and start decompressing our spines to keep the disc healthy and hydrated, we can't expect to go to the doctor once the problem has gotten out of control. Hi, I'm Dr. David Starr, the inventor of Spinal Stretch. I'm here with Helen to show you how easy it is to use. She's inserting the end of the strap into the door above the bottom hinge, then shutting the door to secure it in place. Then she's going to lie down on her back, keeping her knees bent, and secure it around her waist. She's going to push the button and pull out the handle to extend it all the way. Now she's going to lie down on her back with her knees bent in a comfortable position. Now she's slowly going to start to ratchet up the tension by moving the pull up and down. Doing so increases the pull on the low back, and it'll start to cause her low back to slide towards the door while her shoulders remain stationary, thus decompressing the low back, increasing the space between the vertebrae to relax and stretch the muscles and decompress the spine. When she's done, she's simply going to move herself down a little bit towards the door to relieve the tension on the belt. Then she's going to undo the belt. And then she's going to slowly roll herself to one side or the other and do some stretches. This is really good. It's called the cat and the cow. It's a yoga move. It's been around for centuries to help free up the spine and relax it before she stands up. Then she's ready to get up. This is an optional chest belt. It will increase the friction on the carpet, thus give you more pull or traction in the low back. These rib parts of the back will go against the carpet. So she'll simply wrap it around her back like this, under her armpits. Does not have to be really tight. Then lie on her back and proceed by ratcheting up the tension. It's important to understand how to release the belt once you use it. After the belt's been coiled into the ratchet, you'll see there's a release mechanism here that you pull back on at the same time you pull out the strap. Then you simply release it and put it back.
My mood and my outlook on life is so much better. There's no depression or anxiety. I'm a pharmaceutical rep, and for my job I need to get in and out of my trunk and bend and lift and carry things. I would come back from business trips, and we have a lot of trips with my company, and my Pilates instructor would say that I was lopsided. I would just be basically like, one side would be over. And so that's how bad it was at one point. My name's Alice Halliburton, and I'm 43 years old. I love to walk, I love to get out. Being outdoors is really important to me. And it really was debilitating. Gardening, just pruning the trees and sweeping up and bending over. It's a lot of bending, lifting plants. I would have to go lie down. I couldn't go out with friends. I couldn't do things. It was a buildup of all that bending and lifting and straining, almost feeling like I was 100 years old. I think that's what really brings on the depression, when you feel that it's never going to change, it's never going to get any better, I'm going to be like this the rest of my life, and you feel like a cripple. The things that I did to try to alleviate my back pain: chiropractic, I had acupuncture, physical therapy, massage, and actually I was on Vicodin for a little while there, which there's no way I ever want to be on that again. I feel very blessed to have met Dr. Starr and to be using Spinal Stretch. Once I use it consistently, and 15 minutes a day or every other day, if I use it consistently, it alleviates the any need to go see the chiropractor or the acupuncturist or physical therapist. I don't need any of that. Pills, nothing. And able to do things like Pilates and drive without any pain and work and get things out of my car. And now I can be out in my garden and enjoy doing the work that I need to do out here. It doesn't cause me pain anymore. It causes me enjoyment, which is a wonderful thing.
It's, one of those blessings in life that has just reduced my discomfort. My name's Tom Storer. I'm an exercise physiologist, college professor at local college, El Camino College. Unfortunately, my job requires a great deal of sitting, although some activity as well. The episodes that stand out for me distinctly that have hurt my back are just some really crazy, simple things like lifting my cat tweaked my back, and it was sore for, I don't know, a week, 10 days. One of the just everyday things that, I certainly take for granted, and I think most people take for granted, is just simple things like getting up out of a chair, scoot way forward on the chair, and sort of bend over and get up. And my wife has said, you look just like your father. And my father just had horrible back pain that was painful, not only to him, but painful to the rest of us to see him be in pain like that. I'm a major skeptic. You got to prove things to me as sort of my training in the scientific method. I don't think I was surprised so much as grateful that my back started feeling better. What I felt instantly was the pull, and the pull felt good. After, 10 days, 2 weeks is when I first started feeling consistently better. I don't feel any real limitations, no hesitation to do anything. So, getting out of the chair is, a piece of cake. I get up, I can move. This isn't a light cat, but it's no problem. I do anything like this. The best part of this is that I feel good. And what more could you ask for?
I didn't realize how much pain I was carrying around just to feel normal. So once I started addressing it, then it was amazing to me how, like the 400-pound gorilla got off my shoulders. My name is Rick Hollander, and I'm a musician. Well, it started about 25 years ago when I was weightlifting, practicing a particular exercise I wouldn't do now, and that's the bent over row. And while I was working with that weight, it was fairly heavy for my weight, my body weight at the time, and felt like an electric shock hit me in the lower spine, and I hit the floor, and I couldn't get up. I had to crawl up the side of the wall, call my wife and say, I'm hurt. And I think I was painting at the time, painting houses, and had a funny, it wasn't so dramatic in terms of what happened. I just realized that I was in spasm again. And by that I mean I walked around where I had to push my chest out and my lower back swayed so that I could walk. Otherwise I couldn't walk. I had to crawl. It was that much pain. In 2008, I was hurt 4 times this way. As a bass player, I have to stand. The one I have weighs probably between 15 and 20 pounds. And there was no way I was going to pick something like that up. I couldn't do anything physical. I couldn't work. And not being able to work is everything. So I just felt useless. And it starts to make you depressed. I thought, this is it. I'm getting too old. I better quit doing these things. I'm going to have to look for a different type of life. My wife and a good friend of mine both recommended Dr. Starr. And I had to feel well enough so I could even walk in the doctor's office. And so I went to see him, And he x-rayed it and showed me that I had a degenerative disc, that it was actually flattened. It was beyond bulging or herniated. It was you couldn't see it. And again, I always thought it was muscular. I started practicing specific back exercises and thinking that these things would help. I didn't know that I was just treating a symptom. And I had no idea that it was my disc until I met Dr. Starr. I like to unload my spine at least once a day. And by unload, I mean decompress it, elongate it. You feel a little bit of letting go, and you try to relax at the time, your mind. It's about relaxing. If you can put a TV in front of yourself, you can watch TV. Well, before using Spinal Stretch, the pain was at least a 9. After using Spinal Stretch, I would say I'm a 0 to a 1. I have complete mobility. I can do anything that I want to do. Before Spinal Stretch, very sad person in front of you. After Spinal Stretch, very happy, very excited, feel like a new man.
It just seemed like just short of tears. That's how bad the pain was, really bad. My name's Kent Carnes. I'm a contractor in the South Bay area. Along with that comes back problems. When I was younger, I could try to get away from, I could alleviate the pain one way or another. As I got older, it just wasn't going away. I couldn't work for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. Maybe I could work for a week, and then I would be back off again. And this went on for months. I'm not working, so I'm getting into my savings account and watching my savings account just dwindle down as I'm sitting around, trying to deal with the pain and everything else. Very depressing. Back pain affects a lot of different things. I'd come home from the doctor's office or whatever, I'd park up here. I couldn't even walk this sidewalk. I couldn't even walk a block. 2007, 2008, didn't go skiing at all. And my son normally goes with me, so that affected him. He likes to go skiing. Basically, you're shut down. You can't do anything. The pain, when it got to the worst point, was unbearable. I was on my hands and knees in my place, just trying to get up on my couch. There was one day in particular that I'd gone in, and I'm in the waiting room, and I can't sit down. So when I'm in the doctor's office, in the waiting room, I have to walk around, again, because there's so much pain. I'm afraid to sit down in order to get back up again. And I literally had just a tear in my eye. That's how bad it was. After that day, and then after MRIs, checked with MRIs and stuff like that, they were going to give me a couple weeks, and then they were going to suggest back surgery. I tried it, and I would say within a week, I had no pain. To have no pain within a week, after being in so much pain for months, actually months, literally months, it was great. Try getting a good night's sleep with back problems. I mean, literally a couple of times I almost just wanted to scream. It was so bad when I was sleeping. So now I can sleep during the night, all through the night. I can go back doing all the things I enjoy doing. My son and I went skiing. We went up to Big Bear a couple weeks ago. We went back skiing again. He and I come down here to the beach, go riding all the time now. I'm shooting to do a 200-mile bike ride in the end of March. It's called Double Century. Spinal Stretch has really affected my life. Like I said, it's put me in a better mood. I'm able to do the things I wasn't able to do before.
Before using Spinal Stretch, my lower back was like a rock. My name's Larry Mitchell. I'm a deputy sheriff for the County of Orange. It affects you when you take a step. It affects you when you sit down. It affects you when you turn. And it's miserable. I think I developed the back pain mainly sitting at work a lot and then through working out over the years. And right now I'm working in the jails, and you're sitting for long periods of time, and then you're up and moving around All of a sudden, if there's a problem we have to respond to, you have to go from a sitting position sometimes to a sprinting position, and then running there, you just feel it throbbing the whole way. So that affects what's happening at the other end of where I'm going to, whether it's a partner that's in trouble or if there's just an inmate fight or whatever's happening there. You feel like you did something on the court or in the gym, you can feel it, you're like, I felt a twinge there or something. You wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you're back, you can't move, and it's like, oh man, here I go again. A couple days, a week out of commission. It feels like the lower part of your back just opens up. I mean, it really just opens up. You feel it decompress and relax. Before using Spinal Stretch, I'd say my back pain was occasionally at a 7 and all the way up to an 8. I'd say if you go above an 8, you're probably at surgery or you're close to surgery. After Spinal Stretch, I have pretty much no back pains. I don't have to go see my chiropractor very often, which is unfortunate because I like my chiropractor. He's losing business because of his product. I used to go to him at least a couple times a month, and I don't see Dr. Starr anymore than once every 2 or 3 months now, and that's occasionally I'll get a surfing mishap where a wave will crush down on top of my neck or something, and there's nothing you can do for that. But other than that, I don't have to go see him anymore. My back feels great. Before using Spinal Stretch, my lower back was like a rock. I couldn't touch my toes. After using Spinal Stretch, I can touch over my toes. My back is always loose. I can sit anywhere without any pain, whether it's surfing, basketball, jogging, being at work without pain. Spinal Stretch has freed me up from that pain and allowed me to do everything I want to do.